this is Llyane Stanfield, and you can find me at ParisianFrench.com. Welcome, welcome, welcome! So many new members. I'm just so thrilled to see you here, and lucky to be able to answer right away on your comments in the group. I'm not always going to be available to do that, but now, as a lot of people are actually discussing with me about starting the program with me, and the scheduling is going to go further, I guess, in the second part of January and February. Right now, I am a little freer, and so I can answer. But again, just like I said, don't expect that to happen. Unfortunately, on an ongoing basis. I'm doing my best, but I may probably come in the group a couple of times a day and answer the questions as they're coming. But do put all the questions in. I'm thrilled to be able to answer them. And another thing that I wanted to say to you to address, thank you for pointing out the fact that this group is both French and English. I mean, we can talk in both languages. Because indeed, this has been a little fear or hesitation from people to join this group, because they thought, well, if I join the French conversation group, that means that I'm going to have to only write in French and only speak in French. Well, that's not the case, because we all are learning, and so as we learn, we need to communicate in English as well. I would ask my clients, my students, my paying students, to do that more often in the groups. But even then, of course, it's better to do it this way. I can correct, but it's much harder to correct in writing something. Not harder, I shouldn't say harder, with benefits for everybody. You see, I mean, it has a great benefits when you are asking the question and I'm answering your question. That's true. But for people who don't necessarily ask as often, me answering your question doesn't necessarily help them as much. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense to you, but I just feel that way. And so do continue writing. I'm always going to encourage you to write in French. If you need to warm up to the atmosphere of the group and you would rather answer in English first, that's fine with me. This group is to encourage you. This group is not to force you with anything. And we create the culture of the group as we grow. So apparently nowadays, kind of 2, 3, 4 people a day are joining, which is fantastic. And please share this group with your friends, whoever you think that would benefit from it, and especially because you are in it, and your friends would be feeling so much more comfortable having a friendly face. Well, we are all friendly, but a familiar, I should say, face in the group, and so they're going to be so much more comfortable in sharing French, maybe only with you, not necessarily with me, until they actually are comfortable to doing that. So now the title of the subject of this video is step number 1 out of the 4 steps. So the 4 steps, the webinar is going to go down tonight. So I would like you to please go to ParisianFrench.com and subscribe to my newsletters, to my emails, so that you can get access to it for life. I mean, you're going to have it. Otherwise, you won't have access to that webinar anymore. So, but the reason I even pointed out the webinar is because in the webinar, I was talking about the 4 steps, the 4 steps that you need to take in order to become fluent, bilingual, however it is that you want to call yourself. And so the first step that I was talking about yesterday was the pronunciation. And today I would like to dive a little further in the pronunciation. So why do we have to actually learn the pronunciation rules in French? And if you have any questions, I'm actually in the group right now. Please do ask me questions, because I'm answering them live. So the pronunciation rules are something that are new for the Anglophones. Thank you for the like. For the Anglophones, because in English, the words in English are, um, I have to hear the word in order to know how to pronounce it. So for instance, tear and tear, they mean completely different things, but they're spelled exactly the same way. And that's a crazy world, right? In French, you will never have that. You will have the same spelling, pronounced the same way, but it would mean different things if they have different genders. So for instance, you have le livre means the book, and la livre means the pound, the weight, the weight, the pound. So that is what I was saying yesterday in the webinar, that's where the phrase construction all of a sudden is crucial, because, and the context, because when I say j'ai lu un livre, or le livre a un livre, le livre a une livre, the book has 1 pound, weighs 1 pound, le livre mesure, mesure. Right, you could actually use it this way as well. But you can also just say le livre a une livre. So you say that, I'm going to write it after I'm done. When you say that, you say the book weighs or has a pound. So you see how important now is the context, maybe because I only gave you a sentence, so the context is not really illustrated here very much, but it's important. The gender, I consider it part of the phrase construction. So although it should be part of the vocabulary, and I'm going to talk about vocabulary in I guess Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm going to talk about vocabulary, but pay attention. See, is livre is the same pronunciation, and that is because, going back to pronunciation, the topic, today's topic, and that is because we have rules of pronunciation in French that doesn't have anything to do with the word, but it has to do with the letters, with the sounds. So in English is a word level language for both pronunciation and context. In English, I know how to pronounce a word. We do have like sounds as well, of course, but the pronunciation of the word is at the word level. So I need to know how the word is pronounced, tear, in order to know how to pronounce it, right? So I can't actually just read it and know how to pronounce it. And context-wise, the word also comes with the context. So when I say tear, I also already have a context. When I say tear, I already have a context. You see, I'm expecting some things there. In French, it's not like that. In French, the pronunciation is at a sound or letter level. It's not at the word level, you see. So that is why it's so important for French to learn the pronunciation rules. And also the advantage is that when you read something, you know how to say it. So for instance, if you go to Paris to the restaurant, which is the most common application of this or benefit, and you have the menu and you don't have pictures there, but you may have the English translation, so you know that that's what you want to order. Sometimes you have the English translation. Not always, not often actually, but sometimes you do. But just let's say that someone eats something and what is that? And they show you it's number 5. Okay, so you have number 5 written down, and now you have to order. And so you don't know how to pronounce it until the waiter tells you how to pronounce it, or your friend, or you have God's help. I don't know. But see, with French rules of pronunciation, it doesn't matter what's written. You don't need to understand those words, but you know how to pronounce and how to write when you hear them. Another application, which is a little more, I guess, extreme in a way, is let's say you go to Paris and you have to find your hotel, and the hotel has this name, and it's on this street, and so you are looking for this street, and you're talking to the bus driver or someone, and so you're asking, where is the street? How do I get to this hotel? And if you don't know how to pronounce them, or you can show, but you can show. But what if you don't have it written, right? I mean, imagine, it's also not so much, it's the embarrassment that, oh Jesus, I can't really say a word, really? And the problem with this is also that there are people who are intermediate, even low advanced, that really have problems with pronunciation. Even advanced people who have advanced level of conversation, they have problems with saying particular words because they have learned by memorizing them. So, and also it takes so much longer to memorize all the words rather than just learning those pronunciation rules, and then you apply it in everything, in words that you know and in words that you don't yet know. Right? All the new words you'll know how to pronounce, and so you'll never ever make any pronunciation or spelling error ever again. So for me, what I have done with this for my students was, first I looked on the internet to find something that they can practice with, and I couldn't find something really. I mean, about.com is probably the resource, the place where you can find most of the rules, not even all of them there. And they do have some example, usually one word, and you will just hear it. I mean, you click on it and you hear it. But the problem is that the brain doesn't work this way. You need a pattern. So you need a number of words, 3, 4, 5 words with the same sequence of letters or sounds, so that your brain can pick up and then, oh, I got it, right? I know how to do it now. I know how to say it. Whichever word that comes, I will know how to pronounce it. And so that's where you want to be. It feels right. It sounds right. That, and then you don't have to stop in conversation to think, Jesus, oh my God, I don't know how to pronounce this word, right? So this is what I have for you for today. I really wanted to dive deeper into pronunciation and each of those 4 steps, because those are the 4 steps. Well, first, really, or step 0 would be to get a coach. Because even learning pronunciation with my course, I never give away, as in like I don't make my pronunciation course available, because I had to create a pronunciation course for my clients, and so now I have it. So, but I never give it to anyone without my help, my Skype classes. So my pronunciation course comes with 2 Skype classes. So in 2 hours, you can actually have all the rules of pronunciation down, and like I said, you'll never make a mistake in pronunciation or in spelling ever again. So that's what I had to say to tell you today. Also, to remind you to stay on your game and don't ever give up on your dream to become bilingual. Learn to speak Parisian French and break your language barrier. Merci beaucoup et à demain.